Hey everybody, welcome to episode 113. I checked this time. Today I'm going to not really go over, but I'm going to talk about the some guitar equipment, specifically the guitar equipment, so the bass equipment, and maybe a little bit of other keyboard drums, but just because they happen to be on the site that I found. But I want to talk about the equipment of the band Ghost, specifically the Nameless Ghouls. Uh, you know, I'm always curious to know what people use. Not that I'm going to go out and try to purchase things, but I'm just curious. Like if I hear a specific sound on an album, or live or whatever, or even live performance, even on video, I'm always like, what guitar makes that sound? What bass makes that sound? What equipment are they using? Um, Obviously, with the guitars, they're a little self-explanatory because if you see them with it in their hands, I mean, chances are most of the time you can tell right away what that is, unless it's not marked or something, or it's some really obscure thing. And with Ghost, there was they have those guitars. I think just the one guitar player plays them. I don't know if they both do. I know because they have two guitarists. And I wonder what the heck are those? I've never seen those before. Those are new. And we'll get to those. Yeah, so I looked online, did a little bit of research. I did find a website, and we'll go over that in just a minute. And it's got, what do you call it? It's called equipmentboard.com. And they have like the rig rundowns or equipment rundowns of, pretty much not everybody, but a lot of people. But you wonder how true that is. Like, I mean, obviously the guitars, yeah, sure, I can tell, he's using this kind of guitar, but, drum set. But, you wonder, is everything else on the list accurate or pretty close? Again, I mean, I was always seeking out a certain sound, and luckily, with that little Zoom I've got, I can emulate a lot of them on the cheap. And I'm kind of having fun with the different overdrive pedals, using the same essential setup of like the the 800, the Marshall 800 head, and then the 412 cabinets, and then obviously a noise reducer, and a what's the other? And I just use I've been using the room gate, the reverb gate. Just because I can't play the speaker in a room, so it's easier to just simulate that with a room reverb. Yeah, I've just been messing around and really trying to work on my skills too on how to use an overdrive pedal in conjunction with an amplifier. And I've watched some videos, and there's plenty of them out there if you want to learn. Go out and read them. And I'll get to that maybe in another video. That's because it's kind of not a long, involved topic, but it would take more than a few minutes, and I don't want to really cut into this video as much. I want to kind of cover, the main topic, which is the equipment of Ghost. So I'll get into that here. Anything to report? Nothing really to report. Everything's kind of same old at the moment. Got some potential jobs on the horizon that might, help me out here going into the holiday season, and kind of making plans with the family on the holiday season too. That's always can be a little frustrating sometimes, a little stressful. So, I mean, just making plans for the holiday can be stressful, let alone going to the holiday. So, again, like I said, this is not the best time. Sorry, I've got my bathrobe on, my stocking hat. I'm kind of playing it lazy today. Had my son yesterday and got him off to school, so I got some work done here, and I decided to take a little break and do a video because I was listening to a lot of Ghost while I was working today. I kind of want to go back in and kind of touch up some of the stuff that I started to learn on guitar with Ghost, like Mr. Call me Mr. Sunshine. I want to get that. I started that, but I didn't get too far into it. My son can play that solo from Square Hammer really good, so he's been kind of showing me how to how to play that a little bit, but I need to really get into that myself. But yeah, I guess we'll get into it. I'm going to switch over the screens here. Like I said, nothing else really to report. Ironically, what is funny is, remember I talked about last video, I talked about the Dungeons and Dragons, and my son Kim comes over yesterday off the bus, and he's like, "Hey, I want to take some of my Dungeons and Dragons books to school. We're gonna play at lunchtime." I just start laughing. I go, "Did you watch my video?" And he's like, "No, you got a new one." I'm like, "That's weird." Out of the blue, I haven't really been talking about D&D much either lately, and all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna play at school." And that's kind of funny. So he took his monster manual and some of his. I had to dig out some miniatures. These are all my miniatures. They're all kind of. I still kind of have all the those Nolzer miniatures. I kind of left them in the bag. I'll get to the miniatures and probably in another video, because I don't think I've done a miniatures video except for that one on the old Citadel miniatures. As you can see, I haven't touched those miniatures in a while. My son dug out some of the ones he wanted to use, and some he's got a lot more than I do. A lot of his are already the already painted ones. So plus he painted them too. Like I said, I'll get into a miniature video later. So let's just keep it at that. So let's get into the. I mean, obviously, we're talking about the band Ghost here. If you don't know the band Ghost, I highly suggest listening to them. If you're coming to my channel and you're listening to what I talk about music, I would, I love the band. They're my favorite new band, right now, hands down. There's nothing else out currently that I like better than this band. I kind of took a little break from them too. I was kind of doing a little more classic music, and then now I kind of want to touch back and get back into that. I kind of bop back and forth. Still can't wait for their new album to come out. But yeah, so if you don't know who Ghost is, I would say stop the video now, because this is probably, unless you just want to watch stuff on guitar tech. But if you, I would say stop the video and go to YouTube Music, go to the Ghost page, listen to all the singles, watch the music videos, maybe watch a couple of the live performances and check them out. Like I said, I can't recommend them enough. Like I said, awesome band. So let's get into this. Let's switch over. Let's make sure I got my screen set up, because I don't know if I set up my screen. Yeah, I did. Okay. Can I move myself? Let's move myself up here, because most of the stuffy stuff is in the left-hand side here. So, I will show you that this stuff is actually correct. It's not just somebody making the stuff. It is correct, because I looked up. I found a video online where the two guitar techs. I don't know if they're the only two guitar techs, but the two main guitar techs for Ghost there. They basically do this. They're doing the same thing I'm doing. They give you a little bit of a rig rundown, and they go over and they kind of go into more detail on like the construction of the guitars, like those Hagstrom guitars. And then they go over their equipment. They really kind of focus on their rack units, which have a lot of different things in it. I'll touch on that myself. I'm not really a rack person. I mean, I obviously don't play live, and I'm never going to play live in where I need that kind of sound. But they get kind of because if they're playing stadiums and they're playing large arenas and stuff, they've got to have some extra equipment that's not just plugging into some pedals and throwing it into an amp. They've got a lot more stuff. Well, and I'll touch a little bit on that, but let's get into these. The nice thing about the site is you can click on. We're going to go through, just look at the guitars first, right? So let's just click on the guitars. Now, obviously you can go on, the nameless ghouls are the nameless ghouls. I mean, there's two different guys. Clearly one's, a little bit, taller, thicker than the other guy, so you can kind of tell them apart. I saw a site where they showed like their faces and their names. I kind of want to play into the shtick and just not know who they are. It's funny. I would rather. That's one thing I like about Ghost. Even though I've seen Tobias, but I would rather not know what the ghouls look like, because seeing their real faces might. I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying it could. And this is just me. This is not this is a subjective thing, but they could make me not like them just because if they look like douchebags or something. Oh, that guy looks like a douchebag. You know what I mean? So I like the faceless thing. I like, that I can't tell what they look like, sorry, I keep saying, so let's go over the guitar. Like, again, these are the guitars of well, I guess they got the bass guitars separate. So we'll go through the guitars first of the two guitarists. Like I said, you'll see, if you see them on, in video, you'll see which ones they have in their hands. So you'll know who's playing who and playing what. All right, so we've got a Gibson RD Artist electric guitar. I vaguely have seen one of those. Oddly enough, it looks like the Hagstrom, which this is a Swedish company. I looked them up. The nice thing is they also give you links to like Amazon, Reverb, eBay if you want to look for the equipment that they're using. The Reverb's got these. They actually have a website. Here, verified correct, supported via YouTube. So I wonder if they're talking about the YouTube video. Well, that's kind of cool. I didn't notice that before. Yeah, so we got these Hagstrom guitar. I think they're cool. It's a double humbucker guitar. It's obviously very Gibson inspired, and if that's a real Gibson RD, I've never heard of a Gibson RD, and I'm assuming the Hagstrom is just a clone of this. I'm assuming it's not the other way around. It could be, but this is probably, like Leo James obviously is a lower end company, or Firefly, but Hagstrom is not super. I mean, they've got some pretty expensive models on their website. I've seen their website, but they've got I think like that specific guitar right there. I mean, unmodified, just the stock version of that guitar is like $600. I mean, it's pricey, but it's not astronomically pricey. It's like intermediate level pricing. I think they do have, obviously custom versions and more expensive versions of that guitar, but by and large, that's their main guitar style. As you see, there's another Gibson RD, so I'm assuming that that's what they're going for. That's just, like a Leo James clone of a Les Paul. This is a Hagstrom clone of this Gibson RD. I'm just speculating here, just going on what appears to be logical. I don't know any of this stuff, I'll have to do a little more research on that, or if you guys know, like I said, by all means, tell me if that's the case, or tell me, set me straight, or set me down the right path so I can figure it out. An SG, from what I've never seen any of the guys play SGs yet, the two guitarists. Maybe some of the guys from the previous musicians that were on like the first two albums, or the other albums. I'm not to say that they don't play way, obviously. Sorry, it's verified correct, and I think I did see that in the guitar rack in the video, because they basically, the techs are underneath the stage, and they're like little tech centers, little tech stations underneath the stage, and they've got their little areas where all the equipment's at. And they're kind of just looks like they're at a gig and they're doing a rig rundown. Another Hagstrom, they don't have a picture of it. Another Viking Deluxe baritone. I'm assuming that's I guess it's a guitar. I don't know. I'd like to see what that is. We should visit the Hagstrom website here too. Acoustic guitars, I know, like there's that, they call him the Swiss Army Ghoul. I think there's two of them. There's a girl and a guy. I don't know if the girl plays. I know the girl plays keyboards and sings on the right side. So stage. How do we do? Stage left is the stage looking out at us, right? So stage left, which would be our right, stage left. The girl who's usually there, who does backup singing, she pulls out. I think she plays a keyboard. I know they got two other keyboard players, but I don't know if she plays the guitar too. I don't recall seeing her do that. The guy on the other side, however, does. I mean, he does the same thing. He sings, and then he pulls out the guitar, and I think he even plays keyboards and stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of keyboard backing going on, and I don't think you can see Pro Tools up on the guitar tech screen, but I don't know how much how many backing tracks they're actually using, or if they're using any at all. I'm assuming they are for some of this stuff. But obviously they've got enough musicians on the stage to reproduce most of the different, lines, different parts. I think the backing tracks would just be more for like special effect, like sound effects and maybe, like samples and stuff, let alone, then rather than actual, music parts. But like I said, they got plenty. They got 8 musicians out there. I'm sure they got enough people to play all those. For 2 keyboardists, 2 guitarists, bass player, 2 Swiss Army, musicians. So essentially, they got enough to pull it all off live. Again, Fender offset Telecaster. I may have seen it. I don't recall that. Like I said, some of the stuff might be one of those Swiss Army people. I know that usually the acoustic guitars. It seemed like most of them were the auxiliary guy. I guess Swiss Army musician. I guess is the best way to refer to them. That's what they are. They pretty much, whatever they need at that time, they pull it out. I do see this one, though, the Fender Stratocaster, I guess Ed O'Brien. I'm assuming that's a specific model, signature model, or maybe it's a designer. I've never heard the name Ed O'Brien before, so I don't know what that is. But it is a Fender Stratocaster, and it's beautiful. I mean, I would say I'm not a huge Strat fan. I prefer the Les Paul more, Gibson guitars more than Fenders. However, I would say that when you talk about Strats, for one thing, when it comes to Strats, I love the maple necks. I don't like the rosewood fretboards on a Strat. It plays fine, but aesthetically, it just doesn't look right. And same thing with the P basses or the jazz basses. I prefer the maple necks on those as well. This guy's got a maple neck on this Stratocaster. It's beautiful though. It's all white with a maple neck. That's pretty nice. I mean, that's, if you want to talk about a Strat, right? That's the Strat to have right there. That's pretty nice. And you can tell it's got some custom stuff in there. I don't believe that's stock, or maybe it's part of the Ed O'Brien series, which I don't know about. I'm just curious. Let's open up an Amazon page. Okay, they're $1,500. The crazy thing is obviously I think that they've modified theirs a little bit, most likely, but really, I mean, that's not, if for a professional musician, I mean, that's not a super expensive guitar. It's pricey to me, yeah, sure, but as far as there's only 2 of them left. As far as a professional musician, it's not like a $5,000 guitar. I'm sure you could put that kind of money into it by modifying it, but I think that's pretty nice. I mean, it's a real Strat for one thing. I'm assuming it's made with synchronized tremolo. Doesn't have the. I'm assuming. Well, this was nice. All maple headstock. I didn't notice that. I guess they all have that. Because the P basses have that too. I don't know. For some reason, it's just looked odd to me. I haven't seen a nice all maple neck in a while, so it kind of hit me a little bit. But no, that's correct. I think even if it has a maple neck and has a rosewood fretboard, it still has the essentially what a maple neck is. It's just instead of putting a fretboard on top of it, it's just no fretboard, and then they pound their frets into there, and Bob's your uncle. I just prefer. It just feels so much nicer. But yeah, so let's go back to that. Oh, there's a video. Oh, just what popped up here. So this is the video. It's called Ghost Rig Explorations by American Musical Company, their channel. So go check them out. I haven't really gone too far into them. I'm assuming they do a bunch of different people. But usually they have like a host who like talks to the guitar tech. This one, in this case, it's the guitar techs. This is this guy, and then there's another guy in the video. And you can see there's one of those black Hagströms there. I mean, they look cool. I think they've got everything on it that I would prefer on a guitar. Meaning they got looks like an ebony fretboard, double humbuckers, Gibson style bridge. I mean, all intents and purposes, it's what I like. It's just got and I like an Explorer. It's just got a different body stack to it. I think it looks nice. I think it's cool. I'd like to have one. But anyways, yeah, that's the guitar tech, and then there's another guy. This guy goes over the guitars in detail, and then there you see the guitar rack behind him. And then the other guy goes into more of the effects and the pedals and the other electronics. So let's go back to here. Just making sure we're up good. Oh, good. Oh, actually, you know what? I probably was blocking all the prices on Amazon. Now I just realized my mug was way up in the corner there. But at least you can see the guy in the video there. I'm not going to play the video, but so yeah, so that's that guitar. Like I said, man, what the heck? Did I do something here? Hold on. Let me pause for technical difficulty. I'll be right back. I guess not. No recording it. I don't know. I think my computer has got the cancer, or at least my web browser has the cancer. It caught something off of a website, and it's because it's been acting very squirrely. Actually, it's been acting squirrely since the last update, and I don't know if it's the update that did it or what, but it's been acting odd. I just had to reload it. That's all. So let's go back. So I'm opening up in another tab just so we don't lose the main page here. Where were we? Okay, the Gibson. Wasn't this some Tortoise? This stuff I don't really, care about so much, because this is all feel. If you like a 1mm picture, but you don't know until you play, and it doesn't really change the sound of the guitar much, if at all. It more affects how you interact with the guitar, which is important to yourself, but that's a personal thing. It doesn't really. Sure, maybe a heavier pick hits the strings harder and has a different tone to it, but choose your own pick. Pick's a pick, or if you don't even use a pick. Now here's something interesting. They have a couple of these Hagströms that aren't pictured, so I'm just wondering what those are. But I was wondering because, like I said, talking about the drives and the what do you call it, the amps, right? I was like wondering, well, what do they use? Because they have a really cool. I like the tone of their guitars too. So they use I don't know if they both use it, but at least one of them uses what's called a Pigtronics Fat Drive. I'd never heard of Pigtronics. I did pull them up here. I'll show that real quick. These are their pedals, all pedals of Pigtronics. They look kind of pricey, their tuner is $100. I guess it's not. That's the same price as like a Boss. I would say they're probably equivalent to like a Boss, but looks like they have a few higher end like loopers and stuff. So I guess some delays are a little higher end or more expensive. They've got some of the thin little style. I've never used one of these thin little pedals before. I'm not saying I don't want to use them. I'd like to try them. I just like to try start with a cheapo first and see if I like the little thinner pedals. They definitely take up less space, and if you have like limited space for like a pedal rack, obviously this is the way to go. The reason I say that because there's an Ibanez Tube Screamer, the TS808. There's a mini of it, and from what I'm hearing is that they're pretty spot on, as in they're not that different from each other. And it's also like a Tube Screamer is like $100, but the mini is like $60. I was thinking about maybe getting the Tube Screamer mini just to play with a real analog pedal, not just the effects processor, and just kind of toy around with that and get used, mess around with that. So I'm just looking to see where their drive pedals are here. Yeah, guitar synth, compressor. I've heard that. Actually, I think they use, because I already looked at this list once. They use the Philosopher's Stone, and this is a mini. If the mini is $119, I'd hate to see what the full-size Philosopher's Stone goes for. Here is an analog fuzz overdrive pedal. Distortion? Yeah, distortion. It's cool looking. I don't know how it sounds. There's a Philosopher's Gold. I guess that's another compressor. There's a noise. Oh, they do make a gate. Oh, it's a gatekeeper. That's pretty cool. I like that. Sometimes I get carried away by the look of pedals. Like, oh, the pedal looks cool. It must be a great pedal. But they've got a noise gate. And $100 for noise gate's pretty expensive. Like I said, they're looks like they're around the side, around like a Boss. They're about the same price as Boss pedals. I don't see that distortion pedal. They must not make it anymore. This one here, this fat drive. I'm assuming the fat drive, because what it looks like, the styling, I'm not going to click it because it's going to blow up. It looks like like their version of a Big Muff pedal. I think it's very similar to the Big Muff style. But I'd love to hear how this thing sounds. Like I said, yeah, reverb and eBay, so maybe you can just get it. Maybe you can get them secondhand because they don't make them anymore. This is the bass head here. Well, so they use orange, but that's for the bass guitar. I'm assuming it's for the bass. Maybe they could be running a guitar through a bass. I'm assuming though. I'm assuming it's for the bass guitar player. Oh, there's the distortion right there. See, they have a lot of the full-size pedals. Maybe I was clicking on just the half-size? Well, there's some full-size ones here. It says all pedals, so I'm assuming, I'm just curious to see what artists use them, if I recognize anybody. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Weezer, Nine Inch Nails, the Dream Theater guy, Andy Summers uses them, Korn, Slipknot guy, Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith. No mention of Ghost. Huh. But so yeah, so they're using a distortion too. Again, I like it's got an octave. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the octave stuff. I would probably shy away from that. So they have so they have fuzz and they have overdrive. I like that. That's interesting. You got a multi-switch, so you can put them all on or just one. You know what I'm wondering is if that kind of almost works like a preamp or like an amp itself, like a what do they call them? The DI is a direct interface. I don't see the what do you call it, the 3-prong jack coming out, which most of them have. But I'm assuming that maybe that does work like a preamp, because normally you would use the fuzz. You'd use your gain from your preamp on your amplifier, and then you'd use your overdrive to overdrive it, right? So this one, maybe you can just use fuzz like the gain on an amplifier. I don't know. I have to read more into this. Just making I just love how I just wildly make speculations, whether or not if I know it's true. I'm curious. Let's. Of course, the video's marked. And of course, but yeah, it jacks up the site. Gotta go back. Let's go back to guitars. I tell you. Oh, it's just the guitars. Oh, that's why we're into the... okay, we're done with the guitars, right? Okay, let's go into the... I guess we're at effects pedals. Let's go back to effects pedals. So they've got this Pigtronics, an MXR analog chorus. That's a nice... If you're not going to go Boss Super Chorus, I highly suggest this one. I mean, Electro Harmonics is a nice one, too. I can't remember what it's called. It's got a name to it. Like Creamy, or like, or Galaxian, or something. I don't care what it's called. But they've got a chorus, an analog chorus for Electro Harmonics is a nice one. This one, let's check on the time. This one is a nice one too. This is pretty much what a lot of guys used back in the day in the 70s. I like chorus. I'm kind of been getting away from chorus and just going with just overdrive for the guitar. Oh, here we go. What's an octave generator from Electro Harmonics? They are using Electro Harmonics stuff too. The carbon copy. What is that? Oh, from Pigtronics website. This is a photo of Water Ghoul's pedal board. Carbon copy. Okay, all it shows that he's supported via Pigtronics. I didn't see Ghost on Pigtronics unless I missed him. Am I looking at the right site? I don't know. Anyways, here we go. Electro Harmonics. There's another octave generator. We got the strobe tuner. The Paraloop. Who makes this? Carl Martin. I don't know who makes there. So there's the Philosopher's Stone. Like I said, that's the bigger version of it than the other one. I've also been kind of... I don't really play a lot of solos, if any at all. I'm just very riff and chords is pretty much what I play most of the time on the guitar. So I don't really need a lot of compression. I don't really need, because I don't really need it to level out some of those notes. I pretty much you hit that chord with the right, the right overdrive and that right head, and you hit it. You're gonna get what you want, And even if you're just gonna run through a riff, for the most part you don't really need a lot of compression. So compression's more for the solos, I think, in my opinion. Let's see, we got a Class A boost pedal. The boost just another end of Philosopher's Stone more. Oh, he's talking about they've seen it. I don't know what the boost does. You assuming? Look at this crazy thing. Another pig track. I didn't see this on their site. Man, they have a lot of stuff that's either discontinued or they own stock in Pigtronics. Jesus, they just must love their stuff. Or Pigtronics is sponsoring them, giving them a bunch of junk. Oh, look at that. What is that? It's a multi-tap. That's a lot of controls for a delay. Sorry, I sound like a complete idiot. Wow, that pedal's got a lot of buttons on it. Must do stuff. Sorry. Envelope phaser. I know what a phaser is. Let's see. I never heard of this. The Korg DTR 2000. I don't know what that does. It looks like it's just a tuner? Just a tuner, I guess. And there's your Boss chromatic tuner. And then it looks like a 4-channel switcher. Looks like that's what that is. So you can switch from your different... I'm assuming it's for switching guitars. I guess, yeah, you would think that that would be in the rack effects. Do they have a rack studio equipment? No, like music accessories. I don't know if they run it in. Let's go to the amplifiers. There's that orange bass again. Okay, so they're using a Marshall 100-watt Marshall right there. JCM 900. Like I said, I've been using the JCM 800 emulator on the Zoom, and it sounds really damn nice. I would love to be able to afford something like that, but again, I keep coming back to the same thing. That's why I have the Zoom, is so I can have all of these fancy toys without actually paying for these fancy toys. I can still play with them to some extent. Here you got Rock Verb Mark II head orange. So a Rocker 15 Terror, is that a 15 watt? I know that they have like the 20 watt is a big one. Oh no, wait, no, that is it. I think because then there's the Night Terror. I heard this is really good. I saw another video of the guy who runs this through 412s, and even for a small gig, like a bar or something or club. And he was running that on a 20 watt with 412s, and everybody said it sounded amazing. I think he's running through a Marshall 412. So I heard nothing but good things about this Orange Terror. I thought it was 20 amp, but I guess it's 15 amp. I know they have maybe the 20 amp is the Night Terror. I know they have a different one, has a couple more functions on it. But again, an amp I'd love to mess around with. It looks like here's a 50 watt orange head. Again, the nice thing about orange though is orange is pretty. It's not entry level, but I mean it's because it gets kind of pricey. But if you don't want to pay like Marshall prices, and you want something a little bit different from Fender, because Fender's got some nice stuff, less expensive stuff to buy in with Fender. Orange makes like that. I think that thing right there is only $150. I think that Rocker 15, and it's a hell of a workhorse. I mean, it does. If you just want it for a bedroom jam, or you just hook it up to whatever speaker you want, it's going to rock your bedroom, and it'd rock a small club. Obviously, I'm assuming how they use some of these smaller wattages for and something like an arena. Or or something big like that, is they're running with instrument. Obviously, they're using instrument microphones right up on the speaker. So like they'd run it through like a 412s, and then they'd stick their instrument mic right up against the 412s, and then throw it through the house PA. Obviously, you're going to be able to have power to play the venue, but you're not putting out a lot of watts. I mean, a lot of guys, they want those 100-watt heads. I mean, hell. What's his face? Yngwie Malmsteen's got like what? like 100 watt heads he uses at once. It's like, why? For what reason? You know, if you could use this mic'd and play the Pine Canab, you know, you get away with it. Like I said, that specific. Let's look it up here. Let's see what it looks like on the reverb for the price. Oh no, $6.99. So is this different? So this I must be thinking of a different one. Yeah, because these aren't crazy expensive. This is more, you're getting into, you know, the price of a 15 watt head. Why is it so expensive? Unless it's discontinued. I know they have a version of this. I'm not crazy. They have a version of this, and they run it just like this. They put it on here's a 15 watt on a 412 cabinet. And I think their combo on Amazon is like less than $1,000, because the cabinet's going to be great. Cabinet you're probably going to pay $500 for. But they had like a 412 orange cabinet for like I think it was like $5.99 what the cabinet goes for normally, and then they throw in the head, which is, I swear it's $150. Maybe I'm thinking of something different. That doesn't compute. Again, you guys know about the stuff more than I do. Give me a shout out. You know, kind of steer me in the right direction. I swear that's the same one. That's gonna drive me crazy. Let me jump over to Amazonia here real quick. Where's my Amazon? Orange amp. Maybe it's a 12. Maybe it's the 12 watt. No. Where is this thing? There it is, right there. Okay, it is. Okay, because there's the knife here. It does look different. So what's the difference? Here it is. It's a 20. That's what I thought. I thought it was a 20 watt. So the micro tier. Oh, it's just a micro version. Oh, so it probably just has less sound control. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So that's, yeah. Like I said, on the cheap, I would go with this. It doesn't give you as much sound control. It gives you what? You got gain, you've got volume, and you've got tone. You don't even have a bass. You don't have bass control on there, or mid. And it kind of set up kind of for home use with the aux in and the headphones. But yeah, if you want that orange sound, I would go with this. If you're just gonna, you know, you're not gonna play something like that. So I'm just curious. Let's go back to, where was that? That's the video. Oh, here we go. I have to reset that again because I hit the stupid button. Yeah, it looks like, why don't they have this marked? I'm assuming that's the bass because that's the bass clef. Treble's got the treble clef. Cute, guys. Okay. So here's your bass, and then there's, yeah, that makes sense, your middle in the middle. So it'd be nice if they just named it that, but I guess they got to be cool with their little fancy symbols. So yeah, so it's got treble, mid, and bass, presence. I think that's volume or level. This must be the gain knob. So I think that's presence, most likely. All right, so this is different. It's got more functions to it. Obviously, they don't have all the other. They got standby. You don't have all the other goofy stuff for home use. Looks like it's a setup for live use. So yeah, I can see why it's a lot more money. Sorry, we gotta go back and then lose. Oh no, I didn't lose my signal on time. Okay, so I got more oranges here. So you see where it looks like they use a lot of orange stuff. There's a 600 watt speaker cabinet, 412s. I'm sure theirs are probably crazy expensive, but I said I've seen them for cheaper than that. The Thunderbird 200 watt. There's an SVT. That's a bass head. So the bass player is using SVTs as well. That's like your standard. Ampeg SVT is like the go-to amp, you know, bass head. They got some more cabinets here. Yeah, because these are amplifiers. I'm assuming this is, yeah, it's covering the bass stuff too as well. There's a Sans amp, so he's using a Sans amp too. Tech 21 Sans amp. He's probably going Sans amp. I'm assuming this is the bass. No, Guitar Tech. I guess, yeah, I guess guitars use Sans amps as well too. I just know Sans amp of the little preamp. little direct interface pedal. All right, let's go to, we did effects pedals. Let's check out the basses before. Pretty much, I think he mostly uses Jazz and Fender P basses. So they're all American standards. There's a Jaguar bass, P bass, another P bass. I think that's the one you see him use on stage most of the time. And then he has a jazz bass. I think he has a white jazz bass too. There's a black jazz bass. I'm sorry, it's a Jaguar. Oh, is there Jaguars? Jaguar and then jazz bass, okay. Jaguars, they get a little, as you can see, I get a little confused. With Jaguars, got all those little, I can't remember what those little controls do on there. Obviously, it's for switching. Okay, so yeah, it's got a what do you call it, a single coil, and it's got the split coil, as opposed to a Jazz just has the two single coils here. There's a Iceman, which is the like the Paul Stanley Ibanez, but a bass version of it. Got one of those. I haven't seen him use this jazz bass on. Oh, maybe I have. That's nice though. If I was to get a jazz bass, all white with the what do you call it? With the maple fretboard, that's nice. I like that. I think that's probably my favorite on this whole list here. Actually, only maple neck he's using too. So you won't get a drum sets and all the other stuff. So again, there's rack. Most of the rack effects and stuff that the guy's talking about, most of them are like switchers, like channel switchers. These Sennheiser wireless units, and obviously, and they've got, they got multiple wireless units, multiple frequencies, so they've got like a larger unit for that. I don't know much about. I mean, I know what they do, but I don't know much of the particulars on the wireless units. I've always just used a cord. I'm not fancy enough to use a wireless unit. I know you can get those cheap little wireless, Bluetooth wirelesses, but I haven't gone that route yet. So that's right. That's probably about where we want to kind of end the video here, because we're coming up on 45 minutes. So yeah, I would check out this video, check out this channel. But yeah, if you want to listen to the people who actually know what they're talking about, talk about it in detail. I mean, these are the guys who tech in their shows. So it might even be studio techs too. I don't know. You can get. He shows you a little bit better view of this this guitar rack in here. It's got all the guitars on it and stuff. Like, I think that right there is the Fender, the white maple neck Fender, because I don't see a fretboard glued on top, and it's white. It looks like a Fender Stratocaster, so that's probably the fancy Stratocaster. I think those might be the Gibson versions of this, or sorry, this is the Gibson version of those. Yeah. But anyways, check it out. There's Tobias there. That's a pretty decent. I would suggest listening to that interview as well with Tobias. The lead singer, the main guy of Ghost. Without his makeup on, and he talks pretty much. He goes into it's a long interview. So I would suggest listening to that. Just by the way, also while you're at it, maybe not this video. There's a great Geddy Lee video where he talks about My Effing Life, his new book, his memoir book. It's not this guy who's interviewing; it's another guy. Really interesting listening to him talk about it. He's got some stuff I think is worth listening to. There's some tube screamers there. But alright, I'll close out this video. So yeah, like I said, I've been dinking around in my practice time with my Leo James there, and I think I'm gonna get back into doing some Ghost stuff tonight. Work on that one song, the Sunshine one, the Mr. Sunshine song. Or is it Call Me Little Sunshine? I think that's what it's called. Not Mr. Sunshine. Call Me Little Sunshine. Yeah, it's Little Sunshine. Yeah, I'm going to go through and kind of pick up where I left off with that song. And I'm kind of play it through some effects and see how it sounds. Get some nice... you can go clean channel on it, but I think clean channel with a little bit of growl would be nice. So I'll give that a shot. Other than that, this video will probably post it on Friday, so there's the 3 videos for the week. I've got a lot of work to do this weekend, so I might put together a video if I get some time for Monday. I mean, I probably will for Monday, but I'm not sure what I'm going to be talking about on that again. Maybe I'll go into some more guitar stuff. Who knows? I never really know until I come around to thinking about what am I going to talk about today, and then usually I find a topic. So, all right. If you like the video and you want to keep listening to my jazz here that I keep piping out, go ahead and do so. Again, I said the channel really doesn't really have a strong direction at the moment. I'm just kind of, all this stuff is just kind of like whatever I feel like talking about. Stuff interests you. I try to point people in the right directions and stuff that I found, or I do know about, and obviously I seek anybody's guidance or any kind of help along the way and stuff that I don't know. I'm off on, I'm wrong on. They need to kind of set me straight, put me in the right direction. I encourage people to comment and write me and tell me on that stuff as well. All right. In the meantime, I've got to. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna do some stuff. Anyways, I get something to eat this afternoon, or some for dinner here. It's almost dinner time. All right. I'll catch you later and see you in the next video. All right. Bye bye.